Hello everyone, I'm Modh here from the Target Common YouTube channel. Starting from this video, we will be delving deep into the concepts of XPath. This video will cover what is XPath, when to use XPath, and the limitations of XPath. So X in XPath stands for XML and XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. A XML document is commonly used to store and exchange data over the internet. For example, APIs can accept payloads as XML document and can return the response in XML format. On the screen, we have one XML document and the extension of this XML document is .xml. Any XML document contains multiple nodes. For example, in this XML document, we have nodes like library, book, title, author, genre, year. And if you see it more carefully, you can find that we have a root node, library, and within this root node, we have three book nodes. And if you expand the first one, this book node has its own child node like title and author. And if I ask you to give me the title of the first book, then we need to start from the parent like library, then we need to go to first book, and then I need to go to the first child title to find the title of my first book. Similarly, if I ask you to give me all the authors, then we need to traverse from library, and for each book we need to get the author. So whatever node we need to go or traverse, we need to start from a point, for example library here, and then we need to go node by node. So actually we are traversing via nodes to reach a node, and whatever traversing we are doing, the same thing we can achieve programmatically using XPath. So XPath is a query language to select node or nodes in XML document via navigating. We have just seen the example. A HTML document can be considered as XML document, or HTML can be called a subset of XML. So HTML stands for hypertext markup language, and XML is also a markup language, and we have a lot of similarities here like syntax, nodes, attributes. But the major differences between XML and HTML are that XML is commonly used to store and transfer the data over the internet, but HTML is used to display the information using a browser. On the screen, we have one HTML document, and we already know that the extension of any HTML document is .html, and I try to create a HTML document similar to XML. In my XML document also I have the book details. Here also we have book details like title of the book, author, genre, and year. And here also I have total 3 books. So one more difference you can see between HTML and XML that in HTML we have some predefined tag like h2, div, head, body, etc. But in XML we can have the node with any name. And if you open this HTML into a browser, we will see the information like this. But if you open the XML document into a browser, so XML document is displayed on browser like this. If you compare with HTML, we see the details without any node details. So you can understand that we have so much similarities between HTML and XML. That's why XPath can be also used on a HTML document to locate the web element. And the basic concept is same. We need to use traversing. For example, if I want to get the title of my first book, then we need to start from HTML because HTML is the parent node or element in which we have all the data. Then head is starting from here and closing here, so we can keep this head. Then inside body we have everything, so we need to come from HTML to body, and then we need to go to this div, then we need to go to h2. Same thing we have for XML document also. So since HTML and XML are very much similar, we can use XPath for a HTML document to find the web element. And XPath is one of the locators supported by most of the web automation tools like Selenium, Cypress, or Playwright. Now the question is why to use XPath. In Selenium WebDriver, we have multiple different locators like ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, partial link text, and CSS. So if we have so many locators already, then why to use XPath? So it's not like that we need to use XPath always, but the simple answer of when to use XPath is that when all other locators are failed to find the web element, then we should go for XPath. Let's see when to use XPath in more detail. So if your web element does not contain unique identifiers like ID or name, then XPath might be a better option. Generally, ID or name are supposed to be unique within the web page. And if any web element has ID or name, then obviously we should use them to locate that because that will be quicker compared to any other locators. But if you don't have ID or name, you can use XPath. When CSS selector is inadequate, obviously if you don't have ID or name, then you can always go for CSS CSS, but CSS has its own limitations. And major limitations I find we cannot do back traversing. Whatever example I have just shown you, we were traversing in forward direction. Like from head, we are going to body. But if you want to go back, like from body to head, that is not possible using CSS. And also if your element contains some text and you want to locate the wave element using those text values, then we cannot use CSS. So when your wave element does not contain ID or name and CSS is not able to locate the wave element, then it is better option to use XPath. When wave element contains dynamic attribute, your wave element may contain some attribute whose values are dynamic, or they may contain some pattern like it starts with some specific value or it contains some specific value. So in those cases, path might be useful. Fourth point I have already explained. If you want backward traversing to locate a wave element, then XPath is the best option. To locate a wave element with reference or relative of other wave element. This is a very common scenario. For example, you are on Amazon website and you search for iPhone. And if I ask you to give me the model name of iPhone whose price is 1K, then you need to use this price as a reference to find the model of iPhone. So we need to do backward traversing and also we need to use the relative concept here. For these things, we can use path. If you want to locate the wave element containing text, so in that case also we can use the XPath. The last point, locator matching multiple wave elements. It is very common scenario. Whatever locators we write, it may find more than one wave element. So if you want to get the specific indexed element like second or third or first, then XPath is better option. Now let's see some downsides of XPath. Whenever you ask this question, what is the disadvantages of XPath, anyone will say that performance. But with all my experiences, I can say that this is not that much bad in performance. I agree that the XPath engine of a browser needs to parse and search for the wave element using XPath, but that will not impact your text execution time badly. It might be little slower, but it will be not that much that you can say that it is very bad to use XPath. We have a lot of methods and ways in XPath. It is a good point also and also bad point, because we need to remember all those ways and methods. But that is something which we can practice and remember. Complex navigations. This is one of the major disadvantage of XPath. When we find any application where we have a lot of similar wave elements, and mostly if the wave element has been developed using the drag and drop framework where we cannot find different attributes to differentiate the wave elements, then in those cases we may need to write the lengthy navigations which might be complex with its size. And the problem with the lengthy XPath is that if anything is changed in between, then we need to go and update it properly. Another downside of XPath is its limited capabilities to handle shadow DOM. So shadow DOM is used by developer to create isolated components with their own styling and behavior to avoid conflicts with other parts of web page. And in those shadow DOMs, XPath is not that much helpful. So that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.